let's be real clear. Like, I love you, but I don't work for you.
Wow.
Like, this is not how
Wow.
we're going to handle this relationship moving forward.
You know, as beautiful and glowing as this woman is, do you know she know how to fight? Of
He
course.
don't want to fight in front of the kids as long as he's losing the argument.
Wow.
That's what it was.
Wow.
We were arguing because of the way that he was speaking to me.
Well, hey, I'm Bishop.
And I'm Dr. Steph.
And thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Couple of Destiny.
Our life, our journey, our truth.
We are always excited to have you connected every single week to this place where we come together and just really share and pour into you. And so many of you let us know around the country that you're being blessed around the world. And, you know, God is blessing. We're getting people to connect and share this in a powerful way. So we want to make sure that you definitely make sure you comment, make sure you share this with folks, and more importantly, make sure you
like and subscribe.
How about it? Because that's the part. And thank God, amen, that we got a milestone, right? We reached over 10,000 subscribers. Woo! Thank you for helping us get 10,000 and 10,000 on and upward. We want to continue to move forward with that. And of course, we're grateful and thankful just for just the opportunity, man, to continue to just to pour into you. Make sure you follow me at Joseph Walker 3. Follow Dr. Steph and Dr. Steph Walker out there on Instagram as well. And of course, we hope you go to our website, josephwalker3.org, get our book, Becoming a Couple of Destiny. And we definitely want you to make certain that you just stay locked in, share this and with other people. We just want to continue to bring content that we believe can be a blessing to your life.
Exactly. And if you find that there's a topic that we haven't covered or questions that you might have, please feel free to put in the comments below, because we're always checking. We're always looking for new ideas.
Yeah, and you know what would be really cool? We did like a Q&A session. We took your questions and answered them in real time. Wouldn't that be dope? So
that'll be cool.
How about that? Send those questions for us. Send those questions.
Sure.
So today, got an interesting topic. And, you know, as beautiful and glowing as this woman is, do you know she know how to fight? She a fighter. She a lover, but she a fighter. No, we both know. The point of this is that we both recognize in relationships that and we use the word fight, we use it in terms of a disagreement, argument, you know, impasse. And I think sometimes people believe that if you are in a fight, you know,
that's the end of the relationship.
End of the relationship. And so your fights don't have to be fatal.
For the relationship.
They can teach you things. And so I think the real question people want to know, like, do we fight? Do we have fights?
Yes, of course.
What percentage of the fights are my fault?
99.9.
See there? That's what I'm saying. We're about to fight right now. Wow. You still count nines. No, but I think like to really come to a place in relationships where you understand you're going to have disagreements. As long as you have two people with strong opinions about things, or, you know, somebody may do something crazy, they may mess up or not do something, right? Then you fight about it. Something may get on somebody's nerves and you fight. But the question is, how do you fight fair? Because fighting is okay.
Well, first of all, like, to be real, like, we haven't always fought fair.
That's true. Oh yeah,
right?
We fought like, under the belt. Yeah.
Well, when we first met, right? You know, you've got this honeymoon bliss, yay. And honestly, our first disagreement
was on the honeymoon.
No.
Well,
our first fight was before we got married.
Oh, that's right, New York. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
In Boston.
Was it Boston?
No, I was in Boston. It was over the phone, basically.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And this was like one of those fork in the road moments. Yeah, okay. Like, is he crazy? I ain't trying to meet
this woman.
Right. And we were arguing because of the way that he was speaking to me. And, you know, here I am, a physician living by myself in Boston, doing my own thing with my own life. And he's a single pastor who's used to running his church and everyone around him, not in a negative way, but he's used to being the boss. And I'm used to being the boss of my life, right? And he said something in a way that was kind of like, when I say do it, you do it, right? And ladies, and I just had to pause and I was like, let's be real clear. Like, I love you, but I don't work for you.
Wow.
Like, this is not how we're going to handle this relationship moving forward. Like, I understand that maybe that's the world that you live in, and when you speak, everyone follows suit, but that's not how I roll. Like, I respect you, you respect me. And I don't think that he was trying to be disrespectful.
Not at all.
He was just operating in the confines of his space, not understanding or realizing or recognizing you in a whole new space in a whole new world. And we are not in this to be in your world. We're not in this to be in my medical world. We're in this so that we can create a new space, a new world where we're orbiting around each other together. And so it was like one of those things where I had to step back and he had to step back and say, okay, is this even worth it? Like, I'm sure he was probably like, this woman, she's crazy. She's like, got her own mind and wants her own way and does her own thing. And I'm like, this man thinks that I'm just going to roll over and play dead. Right. And so we really had to have a heart to heart conversation about who we were as individuals and whether or not we were able to respect each other moving forward, as opposed to throwing the baby away with the bathwater.
Yeah. And I think that evolved because again, you said it so perfectly. Like it wasn't malicious. It was I was just the way in which I was communicating, operating in the way I've always communicated, and didn't realize the offense, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that sometimes a part of, even reconciling in the midst of fights or disagreements is actually owning your own offense, like articulating that. Yeah. We've learned how to do that. I think sometimes we hold on to it, we let it simmer,
or we don't say anything and we just stand back offended and we don't communicate the why. Yeah. Right. So if I had never said anything, I could have just hung up the phone and walked away. Yeah. Right. But look at all the amazingness in this relationship that I would have missed, and he would have been like, well, she's crazy, forget this, and look at everything that he would have missed out on. Right. But because we were willing to communicate, like, look, that's not cool, that's how that made me feel, like, help me understand why you felt like this was okay, and vice versa.
Big deal. That is a big deal for a lot of people who walk away because you don't know how to communicate. One of the gifts,
don't ask questions.
One of the gifts of, I think, our relationship is that no matter how how incredibly sometimes strong these disagreements can be, and we have always been able to talk through it. As difficult as
it might take a few days.
It may take a few days, it may take a few, but that's an important part, right? Because talking through it, you come to the point of why it has occurred. Like you realize that the intent was not there to harm or hurt. It was just that I was operating under a certain assumption. Yeah. You may have been operating under a certain assumption. When you talk about it, maybe it's something that was like, you got to correct that. That was crazy. But at least you're able to communicate.
And sometimes when we say assumptions, sometimes assumptions we think are incorrect. And so, but sometimes you're not operating under false assumptions. Sometimes you're operating under real, true issues. But to be able to talk through that and walk through that, I think is critically important, and it has been a safe haven in our relationship.
Absolutely.
Like being able and willing to have difficult conversations, not running from them. Learning how to speak about difficult topics, but first creating a safe space to be able to talk about them, and letting the other person know, like, look, this isn't going to be easy, this isn't going to be fun, and I'm not saying this to hurt or harm you or to hurt your feelings or what have you, but like, we got to figure this out because this is not working. And also not being so problem oriented, but being very solution oriented in our relationship. Like, okay, this is a problem. What are we going to do about it? How are we going to fix this? How are we going to change? Like, there has to, like, I believe that everything is fixable. There's a solution to everything, and perhaps it's just a mindset that I walk in life with. But like, even in our relationship, we approach it as, okay, what can we do and do better?
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that we kind of came to some agreement about, and we had a disagreement about it at first, wasn't a fight disagreement, but how we fought. And when children came into the picture, one of the things that, I was raised as you don't fight in front of your kids.
He don't want to fight in front of the kids as long as he's losing the argument.
Wow.
That's what it was.
Wow. See
And
there?
I didn't.
That's what I mean, man. That's what I'm talking about. See there? See what I'm saying?
I wasn't about that.
See there?
Like,
look at all this low key aggression. Anyway,
right.
no, but no,
Curve also.
No, well, somewhat, but no, not completely. But my point is saying this is that one of the things that I was, weird to believe that when you experience, the arguments, the disagreements, and your parents do that in front of kids, it can have an adverse effect, right? I remember vividly like arguments my dad, my mom had when I was young, right? And so those have an impact on me in terms of perhaps what my dad might have said, what might have done. Yeah. So, but to your point, it was, it's okay to argue because kids need to see the normacy of the relationship, but it's about the rules in which you argue in front of the kids.
Yeah. So like the reason that he was so impacted was because it wasn't fair fighting and it was negative, right? And so when you as a child are visualizing and hearing, really negative things and being able to witness really negative things, that has clearly not a positive impact on you. The type of disagreements that I'm referring to, and we had to sort of settle here, was I'm not talking about like vicious arguments. Like we don't do vicious, right? However, I think that fundamentally it is important, at least from my perspective, for children to see their parents disagree. And there are rules about how you disagree in front of children. Obviously, you're not vicious, you don't use profanity, et cetera, et cetera. But when children grow up and think that their parents have a utopian, meaning perfect relationship, and they don't argue and they don't fuss and all they do is love each other, that carries into their personal relationships. And then they think that's how relationships are supposed to be. Honeymoon all the time, everything's perfect. So then when they run into trouble in their relationships, they don't know how to navigate because to them, relationships are supposed to be perfect, right? However, for me, I truly believe that it is important for our kids to see us disagree because they also see us make up.
Now that part.
And so they watch us figure out how to navigate
That's good.
the disagreement in order to get to a positive space. So they're not walking around like everything has to be perfect all the time. Yeah, our parents disagree, but they are demonstrating and modeling how to disagree and disagree fair, disagree in love, disagree respectfully, while at the same time working towards solutions. And they see us our kids hate to watch us kiss in front of them. So we'll hug and kiss and like show like a little PDA in front of them so that they know that everything is okay, right?
Yeah.
And they laugh and then they join in on the hugs because it's a family thing, right?
So we're back to normal. We're back to normal. That's how you look at it. One of the things I really believe it's important, I believe somebody who's watching now may be asking, well, then can you help me and my spouse or my mate know what's unfair in the fight? You said it several times. What's unfair fighting? Like when you identify what things would you say, this is just unfair. This is, obviously, I'll start. Anytime you use violence.
100%.
Throwing things, hitting, that's unacceptable. That is just completely unacceptable. So let's just check that off the list right there. Anytime you demean verbally. Like verbal abuse. It's okay to disagree, but when it gets personal, and you begin to demean and make that person feel less than.
Like when you talk about, like if someone was to try to say someone like is stupid or like isn't capable or doesn't have the ability to do something, right? Something that will impact someone's self-esteem. I think that is fundamentally just off limits. I think that when people weaponize the personal secrets that have been shared.
Wow, that part.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you've gone through trauma before in your life and you've shared that with your spouse, or if you have a difficult time with X, Y, or Z because of a phobia of some sort, and you weaponize that against your spouse, I think, or your significant other, I think those sorts of things are off limits.
Off limits. I think even not only weaponizing that, I think sometimes when you use children as, negotiate, you're trying to leverage those relationships against the other person. If you're a single parent and you're trying to use that, leverage that, or,
or even, because I said like discussing, having disagreements in front of your kids, I think it's off limits to bring your kids into the conversation.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
To turn to your kid and say, isn't that right? Or turn to your child and say, don't you agree with daddy? Or don't you agree with mommy? I think that that's fundamentally wrong because it forces the child in that moment to feel like they have to pick sides or to jump into what we call grown folks conversations, which they should not be in. It's one thing to witness, it's another thing to be involved and incorporated in. And I think that that's completely unfair and inappropriate.
No, I agree. No, I totally agree. So I think you have a sense of when you know it's out of bounds too. I think if you have,
know better,
you know
right?
better. You know that wasn't a good thing to say. And certainly I think anytime you publicly embarrass your spouse or your mate in front of friends, and that's just ridiculous. That's out of bounds. So I think that's important. Let's talk about the box. Many people who have been following us may not know that we shared, I think, in the first episode about us coming together and us, establishing this box identity relative to how we will reconcile disagreements.
Well, just about our marriage.
Yeah, period.
So this came out of a conversation early on in terms of, for those of you who don't know, we got engaged within 3 months of knowing each other, and we were married 8 months later. So within that full calendar year, we were met, engaged, married. And one of the things that we talked about, for me anyway, in his family, there are quite a few people who are divorced. In my family, not so much. It's not a thing, right? And good, bad, other, not saying one is better than the other. Clearly, there's reasons for either, and it's a philosophy, I think, right? And so for me, because I was being asked to move, right, and give up this career trajectory that I had been on in order to move to a different location where I didn't know anybody, and I was really trusting in God, trusting in the God in him to really honor this union we were getting ready to embark into. And so for me, like, I need to know, are you in or are you out?
Right.
Is this a part-time thing, a temporary thing? Is this something that you feel like you're not sure of? Is this something that you feel like you can get out of in 2, 4, or 5 years from now? Because that's not who I am, and I'm not willing to risk everything for that mentality, right? And so what we talked about was having this box, essentially. Either you're in the box or you're out of the box. No 1 foot in, no 1 foot out. There are no windows, no doors. So if you have to conscientiously make the decision that you're going to get into this box, knowing that there's no way out. You can't go out the door, you can't climb through the window, you can't go through the chimney or the roof. So once you decide to come in, we're in. And to be in the box means that you're going to fight for this relationship. You're going to fight for this marriage. You're going to commit to the biggest commitment that you've ever made. And you have to be willing to state, and willing to not just state, but put your money and your ideologies and everything behind this, if that makes sense, in terms of making this investment, not monetary investment, but just emotional, mental, like everything, right? And
that speaks to fighting for us, because it doesn't mean the box doesn't have graffiti, the box doesn't have all kind of crazy stuff on it, but we're just committed. Like we are committed to staying in that box. We're fighting for our marriage. And I think if you're going to fight, I get it. It happens. You got to have that. But you got to also pivot and decide this marriage, this relationship is worth fighting for, because what we talk about is that God brings you together for purposes greater than yourself. And oftentimes the enemy uses these disagreements to attack the purpose
of a thing.
Of a thing, like to prevent the purpose of a thing from coming to fruition. And so it's about, listen, you stuck with me, you stuck like Chuck, we in it, we're gonna figure it out. And it may be a very arduous process sometimes, maybe very uncomfortable, but we are committed. And that's what you have to do. You have to be committed.
And then the box mentality is it gets hot in this
box.
box.
Oh God.
And sometimes, right? It should be joyous, but sometimes it gets hot. And because there's no windows or no doors, you can walk to the other side of the box. You can walk to your corner.
Right.
You can pout. You can do whatever you want. You can refuse to have a conversation. But eventually, because you can't get out, it forces you to come together to identify solutions.
Yep.
And to figure out how to work it out.
That's good.
And I think that's also why we have developed such great communication within our relationship, because we have essentially told each other that there's no choice in the matter.
That's real.
Like there's no easy way out.
No easy way out.
So you might as well figure out how to fix it.
And it's worked pretty well, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I know so. I think that if you're watching this and maybe you're at an impasse in your relationship, maybe you're at a point where you're like, man, we just can't see eye to eye. Don't underestimate this. Don't underestimate the fact. You're hearing us talk about all these different solutions. We've gone to therapy, which is important.
We actually committed before we got married to multiple years of therapy, regardless of what was happening.
You buy a car, you get oil change. It's therapy, man.
You have your warranty on your washing machine or your refrigerator.
Get it serviced. And so I think that it's okay to have those impasses. It's okay to have those disagreements, but it's what you do with them and what they reveal to you. Sometimes those things reveal the strength and or the weaknesses of your relationship. And for us, every fight has done that. It's helped us know maybe we need to pray more. Maybe we need more time together more. Maybe we're just like out of alignment. So that's what we're saying. So the issue for us is it's okay to fight as long as you fight fair, as long as you fight for it.
Right. And you create your own boundaries and your own rules about what's off limits versus not off limits, et cetera, et cetera. But ultimately recognizing that you're fighting for something, right? You're fighting for the relationship. You're fighting for, the purpose of the relationship. You're fighting for your offspring. You're fighting for your legacy. You're fighting for whatever that thing is that God brought y'all together to do.
Good. Well, I hope this one has blessed you. I'm telling you, this has been fun. And boy, I tell you, we've had some fun fights. On the other side, we laugh at them now, but
we do laugh. And then now, though, when we do argue or fuss or fight, they last like 2 minutes. Because we're so used to being able to move through. We know that it's attack of the enemy. We're able to recognize it and move through it.
So. So it's the way it is. So. But anyway, no, really, seriously, they really do. We're grateful to God. We're thankful for what the fights teach us. We're thankful for the ability to keep fighting for our marriage, and we hope you will keep fighting for yours. At the end of the day, it don't have to be fatal in the relationship. It doesn't have to be final in terms of where you are. It could be an opportunity where you can learn more, grow more. Yes, and ultimately that's what it's all about.
So come together.
Make sure you let us know. We love to hear your comments in the comment section. Maybe you got something on this one that's going to bless us. Hear your statements and make sure you follow Dr. Steph. Follow me. Stay connected to this page. Share alike. We appreciate it so much. And then subscribe to Couple of Destiny. We appreciate it so much. So I'm Bishop.
And I'm Dr. Steph.
Until next time. Hey, it's Bishop. Listen, if you were blessed by that video and really enjoyed the content, I want you to check out other videos right here. Click right there and make sure you subscribe. It'll bless you.